talk a little bit about one of the other hats that you wear. For 8 years, you were in radio with Tom Joyner.
Yeah, man.
Legend.
Yeah.
Legend in the game. 8 years.
That's one of the pinnacles of my career.
And they say he was one of the hardest working people in radio because he would go from Dallas. He's from Dallas, and he would fly to Chicago, do a show here, then back to Dallas, and back and forth, back and forth. They called him the Fly Jock.
Yeah, and he still fly, and it's a double entendre because he still fly. Tom, I talked to him yesterday. For Father's Day, I gave him a call. He and I still really, really very close. But his show was the blueprint for a morning show that has been duplicated and like it's the blueprint. You know, the serious lane person, which is Sybil Wilkes. She kept him on as far as facts and factual and straight lace, and then the comedian and the anchor. But Tom, being a legend, he actually started in Chicago. He got his big break in Chicago. He's from Tuskegee, Alabama. He and Lionel Richie were elementary school friends.
Way.
Yeah, Tom was actually a member of the Commodores early.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh,
he loves to tell that story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
So I found that out sitting at dinner with him and Lionel Richie at Tom's house like 2 years ago. My wife, she's a geek because she was a big, huge Lionel Richie fan when she was a kid.
Right.
But Tom Joyner is like the epitome of radio. So that was a very targeted objective that I had to get with Tom, and it just started like I just wanted to be heard on his show, get interviewed by him, or to go to one of his Sky shows, which is a live performance of the radio show in a theater with the audience, 5 a.m. But he got legendary artists performing, and the show is being broadcast live, and they let comedians go up. So that was my first goal, to get on that Sky show, and I made it on the Sky show. But not as a comic, actually as an actor, because I was in a play with Thea Vidal and Howard Hewitt. Now, Howard Hewitt is from the old group Shalimar. Thea Vidal had the show Thea on ABC in the late 80s or 90s or whatever. Anyway, this play was traveling, and his executive producer attended the play, invited them to come to the Sky Show. They just happened to be in town in Atlanta. And so since I'm a part of the cast, actually I was the lead in that cast, they invited me too. So that was my first time getting on his air and being at a Sky Show. So the next thing I got on was they booked me as a performer on the Sky Show. So now you going out, he had 8 million listeners at that time. Yeah. So
he was huge.
And you're talking live, 8 million listeners. And so that led me to getting on his cruise. The cruise led me to calling in to do a feature. Dion Cole actually recommended that I reach out to them because he was writing for Conan, and they wanted him to write for Tom's show, and he couldn't have the time to do it. So he told me, they're looking for somebody. If you got something to submit, do it. So I had a feature once a week called Seriously Ignorant News, and it was a 5-minute feature, and it was about stupid criminals. So it's like seriously
ignorant news.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love the title.
So it started out as INN, ignorant Negro news, but everybody was a Negro doing the ignorant stuff, so we changed it to Seriously Ignorant, and it would usually be like somebody would rob a bank, and take their mask down before they leave, and it'd be all these stories, but I would put my own twist on the story. That led to me actually filling in for J. Anthony Brown, who was Tom Joyner's right-hand man on the comedy side. And then Jay would miss days, so they called me the comedian in the glass. And I had the equipment to broadcast from home. Because they wouldn't be in the same room later in technology.
Oh, see, that's a good question.
Back in the day, Tom used to actually fly back and forth.
That's what I'm saying, back and forth.
He flew. He did mornings in Dallas, maybe mornings in Chicago and Dallas. Anyway, vice
back
versa.
And forth.
And so, the satellite came in, we do syndicated radio. I could do it from home. But at first, before I got the permanent position, I had to go to Kennedy King College campus on 63rd and Halsted at 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
On 63rd and Halsted.
Right.
At 4:30 in the morning.
That's early.
Not just early, it's 63rd and Halsted.
63rd,
yeah. So, and I'm not from 63rd. But it was, I did it for 2 years free. I was going down there. And then they finally gave me the position. So I tell anybody, if you're doing something you love, because it was beneficial to me because I'm being heard. Even if it was 5 minutes a week, Tom would start off my feature with, all right, this week's Serious Ignorant News, Damon Williams. Damon, where you performing this weekend? And I tell them where I'm going. So that revitalized my career. So all those people who had followed me from Comic View and Def Jam in the 90s, they're now adults, they're older people, they're listening to FM radio.
They grow with you, right?
Came up with me, and now they know where to find me because of Tom Joyner brought me back, so to speak. Yeah.
See, I was going to ask that. Did you have to go back and forth with him to Dallas? But now that it explains things. You used to go to the college on 63rd Austin. Right, at 4:30 in the morning.
You understand me?
And do it free for 2 years. So you did mention, I'm not going to bring up names, but there is another comedian.
You can mention names.
Okay, all right, cool. So eventually, Ricky Smiley took over the show, correct?
Right.
And back in, I believe it was 2019, Tom Joyner announced that he was retiring and
Yep.
he was going to succeed him. My question to you is, would have liked to maybe carry on the torch? You yourself being a comedian, working so closely with Tom,
Yeah, or even being
was
on
that
Ricky.
ever an opportunity to do that?
Well, no, because Tom was so massive, and Ricky already had radio experience in a radio show. He was in the Reach Media family.
They were
already.
competitors, right?
No, he was a different demo. So Ricky was the hip hop generation, more like 104 here with the 2000
Oh, jams, yeah.
that type of genre.
Tom was more soul.
Tom was old school,
Right.
and R&B, and so now Ricky's to the age where now he could seamlessly fall into that spot. Plus, he already had the followers and the listeners, so it made sense for them to do Ricky. But he did tell me I was going to keep my feature on the show, but he didn't. But he came with his whole cast already, so he had. But every once in a while I roast him about that because I got it on air. It's like oh damn, I got you, man. You're gonna be on the show.
No.
But anyway,
But he did.
yeah, I
He
would
did
love-
eventually bring some people from Tom Joyner, like from his.
no,
Oh,
he
he
didn't.
didn't.
No.
Oh, he did.
His production.
His
Yeah, the
production.
staff, the behind the scenes staff, but not on air. No.